Hey there, folks. Erik William out here. It's GenreBlast number 8, man. I can't even believe it. And, folks, I've got some very talented filmmakers here with me. I've got Jared and Blake, and I tell you what, guys, job well done. Fantastic. I don't want to steal any thunder. I'm going to throw it over to you. Introduce yourselves to the folks that weren't lucky enough to be here, and tell us about the Red Velvet, man. It's amazing.
Oh, very kind. Thank you so much. I'm Blake Simon. I wrote and directed the film. Jared?
Thank you so much for having us. I'm Jared Selcer, one of the producers on Red Velvet.
I mean, guys, tell us, if you can, without giving too much away, tell us a little bit about this piece, because, it was amazing. Again, I think I say this, and I mean it honestly when I say this is one of my favorites, because everything here is amazing, but this one's going to stick with me, man.
Well,
awesome.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I mean, this is where to start. Red Velvet, the setup for the film, for those who haven't seen it, is we follow Jack, this lonely, kind of nebbish character, and he finds out the end of the world might just be taking place. He locks himself in a dingy motel room when a female escort comes knocking at his door. And that's the setup.
Perfect.
No, it was my first horror film.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
first
man, you
time.
nailed it, man.
Thank you. This is our 4th festival.
Okay.
And I mean, Jared comes from the horror world and
Okay.
loving these films, and I'm newer to it.
Okay.
I, for most of my life, was too afraid to watch horror films, and I'm happy to admit that.
No, what's funny is that some of the best horror movies have come from people that were always afraid to, because they know how to film what
They know what scares them.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's beautiful, man. And job well done.
Thank you so much.
I mean, tell us a little bit about the filming process behind this, because you created such an amazing world. Like, it literally, the atmosphere was perfect. I mean, the location itself kind of brought you in. So if you can, tell us a little bit about maybe the shooting process and the location. How did you come about that?
You want to go first?
So the filming took place over the course of 2.5 days.
Oh, wow.
2 of which were in that motel room set. Speaking to just what it was like on set
Yeah.
and the atmosphere of filming, it was 120 degrees
Yes.
in that room while we were filming.
When we were filming, it was 95 outside.
Yeah.
And it was 10 degrees hotter inside. Sorry, you can.
And I was going to say, but you can almost feel that come through on the camera. It's amazing.
Well,
I was going to say that.
We were having to tell makeup toward the end of the filming, as things got crazier in the movie, to not dab him dry. Yeah.
and that ended up working with the conceit of the film, because as it goes on, the main character, Jack, gets so much more frantic and
Yes.
paranoid. And so ultimately, it ended up being a benefit to the film, even though for the crew, it might have been a detriment at the time.
Detriment, right.
But it was really, I think, it was an example of a lot of people in the same place at the same time who all really cared about the project that
Yeah.
we're making. And that kind of, led us through the blood, sweat, and, literal sweat.
Sweat, yes.
Yeah. So, but in terms of the process, I mean,
Yeah.
like Blake said, this was his first horror film. He sent the script to myself and Liz Holland, my other producer, and it was fantastic, and wish she could be here right now. And he was like, it's my first horror script. Like,
Right.
what do you think about it? And thankfully, the main thing, regardless of genre, is that you need a great writer and a great filmmaker.
Right.
And Blake is both of those things. So he was able to slide right into the genre seamlessly, just through the virtue of his fantastic storytelling.
Now let's talk a little bit about your main character here. I mean, he did such an amazing job. I mean, he was giving me just kind of vibes, just like I'd seen him before in like a million other things. It was just a case where he really brought the character to life, the nervousness, the paranoia. Tell us a little bit about him, if you can.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So, Austin Lynn Hall, he plays Jack. Incredible actor. It's so funny, we've been at a number of festivals, and at every festival, we've been fortunate to be nominated for different things. And it's funny because we're nominated for different awards at each festival. Yeah. The only consistent one is actor. everyone loves him, and I'm very grateful because at the end of the day, the film really is only as good as its cast.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how well of a job I do directing, or how well the cinematographer does, or Jared or Liz. Like, if you don't have the right cast, you don't have the right movie. And the movie lives or dies on our cast. And Austin, we lived because of him. So
It such an amazing job. Like I said, he really brought. I mean, and actually, your actress, she was just as
I was
amazing.
gonna
Say, speak to her a little bit.
Alicia Roser, fantastic.
yeah.
We
Just to shout out Alicia for a minute. She is actually not to spoil anything, but she plays multiple characters in the film.
Oh wow. Okay.
And that's not an easy task. And I think she was able to do a really good job portraying that.
I was gonna say I didn't want to bring that up. I'm glad you did, but no, that was
Mild spoiler
it's
alert.
mild, very mild.
yeah. I mean, one of the favorite parts of the filmmaking process for us is casting.
Yeah.
We spent a month casting this thing,
Oh wow.
and well, on paper it was a month. Off the books, maybe a little bit more. But ultimately, we kind of kept coming back to these two.
Yeah.
And, we had them self-tape, audition, chemistry read, callback, all these things. And there were many other talented actors and actresses who read for us, but we always kept coming back to these guys.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it was them.
Yeah.
They were as close to what Blake imagined on the page as we could get. And
That's
also
amazing,
just
yeah.
they were so incredibly talented and were so game to play in the world that Blake had created.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to give too much away, obviously,
Yeah.
but let's talk a little bit about effects because
You can give a little bit away.
You're talking to me like that this is your first like horror, and I'm just like the effects were absolutely amazing. If you can,
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about the process behind that and
Sure,
some
sure.
of the magic that you brought on film here.
Thank you so much. Well, we have to shout out Jeff Stevenson, who is our visual effects supervisor, who also gets down and dirty and does shots himself, and he's just a legend. Yeah, I mean, there are really two big effect gags in the film, without spoiling too much.
Right.
The first one is actually entirely practical. And that one we had a lot of meetings with different department heads where we just ran tests to try and figure it out because none of us had done an effect like that.
Okay.
And so that was that. The second one, which is the bigger gag in the
Right.
film, is entirely Jeff.
Oh.
We tried to do it practically and failed. Basically, I went to Jeff and said, "Hey, man, I think I've got a really good movie, and we may have botched the ending, and that means we may not have a really good movie."
Right.
And no, he saved the day. People have come up and said, like, "So how practical was that?"
Yeah.
And the truth is, we tried to do it practical, and it didn't work. So we actually had to go in and erase what was practical, and it's all visual effects. Yeah.
Wow. Which credit, man, that it was a beautifully well done. I mean, it's
Thank
like I
you.
said, I've seen sometimes where you can just 100% tell that it was, in this, had you not said that, it looks practical because I'm like, you guys did an amazing job on it. So tell us a little bit about maybe if you can.
Yeah.
You said now you shot this over 2.5 days.
That takes, yeah.
Now, how long did it take to get up to that 2.5 days as far as that goes? How long was this in the can, like, working its way up there? So 2.5 days, but okay, that's the filming part.
Yeah.
Where was the brain? Where did the
It
roots
was a
lay?
very quick turnaround.
Okay.
I had actually been out of the country for a long time doing another movie that I wasn't directing, and I had been itching to direct again.
Yeah.
And I got back into the country in March of 2022.
Okay.
I wrote the script in April of 2022, and we shot in June.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then we were done with post in September, October.
Okay.
So
That's amazing.
yeah,
So
I mean, for Liz and I,
yeah.
who do a lot of work in the commercial world, even though for Blake that seems like a really quick turnaround,
Yeah.
2 months of prep time for us is
Yeah.
a lot of time. So we were able to make the most out of it. And just a huge boon was Blake's dedication to his prep and his process and everything, and all the diligence he does with his pre-visualization and his shot listing and all of his planning and everything really made our jobs easy in terms of lining up all of the production elements.
Wow. I mean, it's again, amazing job, guys. Now you said this is your 4th festival that you've been in, or
That's correct.
Where what's next for Red Velvet? Have you got more festivals? What's the next plan for it? Is it still on its festival circuit? I mean, where is it going to go next?
It is, yeah. We are, as of now, roundabout in the middle of our festival run, but we are still waiting to hear back from more festivals.
Okay.
But the next one is Court Matrange in France.
Okay. Oh wow.
And then after that,
Very
we will
nice.
be at New York City Horror Film Festival. Is that the next one, or did I skip one?
Before that would be that.
Screamfest. Screamfest in Los
Okay.
Angeles.
Okay. Screamfest. That's a
which
big one.
we are
Congrats,
LA-based
man. That's
filmmakers.
amazing, man.
Yeah. Being LA filmmakers, we're really excited to bring it home.
That's huge.
Especially because
The cast has not seen the film yet.
You're kidding.
Austin. And that's, don't look at me. Austin and Alicia have denied a screener
Wow.
because they want to see it on the big
They
screen.
want to see it. Yeah.
And it just happens that LA has not been on our circuit yet, and we're going to be at Screamfest next month. So they're going to see the movie then.
So they're going to see it.
They're going to see it then.
That's awesome. That is really, really cool. Now, for the folks out there that weren't lucky enough to be here, meet you, and screen this, is there website, social medias? How can they find out more about y'all, more about Red Velvet? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Instagram at all these festivals tends to be the best way to communicate with everyone.
Right.
It's so funny. It used to be phone numbers, but now with Instagram, you have the name and the face.
Right.
So I'm at Blake Simon Film. Very, very easy to remember. And all Red Velvet updates are there.
I was going to say, so that if somebody runs to if it's at a festival near them, like Screamfest,
yes.
or
Just
New York City
send me a DM. But yeah, we'll be at New York in December, and
Awesome.
But reach out. We love talking about the movie and talking about your projects as well. And Jared,
absolutely what Blake said. My Instagram is at the only J Selcer. The only J Selcer is the spelling. Liz is Movie Maniac Girl, and we are constantly posting about Red Velvet, where it's going, where it's been. You can find the link to the trailer for the film on both of our Instagrams.
Okay, great, great.
So, if you hit us up there, we are always excited to get in touch with people who want to see the film, but also people who just love genre films and want to chat and want to hear more about the film. And we want to hear about your guys' films. Everyone out there, we love the horror and the genre community. So it's been a blessing to screen at fantastic film festivals like GenreBlast.
I tell you what, I think it had a great screening, and it was just, I love GenreBlast at the Alamo Drafthouse. It's the big screen, like you said. There's nothing, there's nothing like seeing it just on that big giant screen, man. And especially that movie and the atmosphere that you bring to it, it was so perfect.
There's nothing like seeing a film with a crowd of genre fans.
Right.
And for those of you who haven't done it, I mean, you just have to experience it to know.
Yeah.
it is funny. Just because you mentioned audiences,
Yeah.
like when you work on a movie alone in a room with a computer, it is an entirely different experience.
Yeah.
As many of you know, and as you know, there is some humor in this film.
Right.
I had absolutely no idea
Then it was
what worked or not. I mean, I said I'd never done horror. I really have never done comedy.
okay.
And even the comedy that's in the film is more for me than anyone. And the thing that's blown me away, I don't know about you, but like when we've screened for a theater,
Yeah.
is the laughter.
Yeah.
Is always, it's still unexpected. And I mean, sure, it's in the script, but I owe Austin a lot for that performance.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
going to say, there was moments I literally was just, I couldn't hold it in. It was fun. Yeah.
So much of it is Austin, but the stuff that Blake had there,
Yeah.
when Blake sent it to us, we all, him, myself, and Liz, we share a very, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
A very
The 3 people that watch this, they know me.
Fantastic.
It's basically, it's my mom, my dad.
No. We have a very fucked up, twisted sense of humor that we share. And so we read it. We were like, this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And we don't know who else is going to laugh at it.
Right.
But, and then thankfully, this community has the
gonna
same
say.
sense of humor that we do.
That's the best part of it, especially when you come to film festivals. It's everybody's like a family. If you I don't even know how to say that, but if you're coming into a film festival and you're not part of the community, you're gonna be soon, or you're gonna just
But that's absolutely true. But even more so with like the genre community, you know, like because this is my first time playing in this space, it's new to me.
Yeah,
and it's incredible. I mean, the horror fans, the genre fans. I mean, they're so supportive. They're so collaborative.
Yeah.
And like, there isn't like kind of a competitive bone in anyone's body. Like everyone's here because they like the same stuff.
Yep.
And they're like, I loved your movie, and oh my god, and and everyone's just like, they want to watch and make stuff together and the same types of things, and that's been incredibly just welcoming.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the beauty of it all here. I mean, it's a case like you said. We all know, we've all made films, or most of us here have done something, and we know the blood, the sweat, and the tears that go into the filmmaking. So we want to celebrate and congratulate. And like I said, you guys can definitely celebrate and congratulate on this one. It was absolutely
Thank you
amazing.
so much.
I tell you what, man, I could probably go on and on, but we got partying to do. GenreBlast. So before I let you go, last thing, anything that you'd like to plug that you're working on next, or are you basically focusing on Red Velvet on the way out? I mean, do you have anything that you want to talk about?
We are currently finishing up post-production on a new horror short. It is actually in its final week of post-production.
Okay.
We're finishing the final sound mix. Can I?
sure, yeah.
It's called Faces, and it is Blake's take on a psychological 80s throwback slasher with elements of body horror and body possession thrown in there. I won't say anything else, but we think that it's and we're very proud of and love Red Velvet. We think that it's a step up from Red Velvet even.
Oh wow.
I got the horror bug. I
was
think.
gonna say.
I
I was just about to say. All right, so you went from not making a horror
I
to
know.
this to like 80s psychological.
Yeah,
like
I got the itch.
oh man,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Thank you. No, we're shout out to Matt Pendleton and Daniel Trelitza and Max Besterman, and who they're out there finishing the movie so that we can be here right now. And also, just to backtrack to Red Velvet for a second, shout out to Bill Snyder, who was our composer,
Oh wow.
who was nominated at this festival for Best Original Song for the film.
I was gonna say that's another part of it, and there's just so many little things about it. And like I said, the score,
Yeah.
wasn't even get. I didn't even get there. I'm glad
No,
you shouted it
thank
out.
you. Yeah, he our end credit music is an original song by him with him singing, and none of us knew he could sing like that, and it blew us all away. And I was actually talking to Nathan, who's the festival director, as you know, and he came over to me and said he already downloaded it on Spotify. So
awesome.
Shoot Your Shot by Bill Snyder is on
Check it out. Yeah.
Spotify. But yeah,
All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank you for having us.
We're gonna get out to GenreBlast. We got some partying to do, and folks, we're gonna get you back to the show right here on Saturday Fright Theater. Every night is a frightful night when you're watching a movie. We'll be back soon.
Thanks, guys.